Welcome to Smashterpieces, a casual walk through the history of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate roster. My name is Joe.
And my name is Matt.
And if you're new here, what we are doing on this show is we are playing one game for every character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, from 1984's Duck Hunt to 2017's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And today's game is representing fighter number 26, Mr. Game & Watch, the oldest fighter on the roster, by like 4 entire years, by the way.
Nope, isn't he like the same year as Pac-Man?
No, actually maybe. Yes, he was in Japan and North America the same year as Pac-Man. That is 1980 was the original release of the Game & Watch, though, from what I can tell, the Game & Watch for Ball, which was the first Game & Watch to ever be released, came out on April 28th, 1980, and Pac-Man first made its release in Japan on May 22nd, 1980. So, Game & Watch predates Pac-Man by 1 month.
So let's get a quick history lesson in here, because that's just kind of just like Duck Hunt. That's the only way this is going to be a very interesting episode.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was Gunpei Yokoi that had the idea for the original Game & Watch games, because he was on Shinkansen, the Japanese bullet trains, and he just saw someone playing with an LCD calculator by just pressing a bunch of buttons. So basically, Yokoi was like, what if I just made a calculator that was supposed to be a game? And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, it's just an LCD screen with some black graphics. It looks like a calculator.
And also, Japan's public transit has been years ahead of ours since before the Game & Watch.
Yeah, the Shinkansen existed before the Game & Watch. That's really wild to think about, actually. We never said what game we're playing. The game specifically that we are talking about is 1997's Game Boy game, Game & Watch Gallery. And that's not super actually important to what we're talking about, but we should probably mention it.
The Shinkansen started service in 1964.
Wow. That seems old, actually. So the Game & Watch is the oldest piece of gaming memorabilia that we're basically going to talk about on this show, for the most part. Because again, Duck Hunt was 84. This was 4 entire years prior to Duck Hunt.
Yep.
And we're not playing the original Pac-Man, so that might come up when we get to Pac-Man's game. But for the most part, we're going to be talking about that game.
So the Game & Watch is not the oldest video game by any stretch, but it is one of the oldest.
It is definitely one of the oldest to come out of Nintendo, for sure.
I think it was the first Nintendo game, wasn't it?
It might have been. Donkey Kong would have been the first major success from Nintendo, but I don't remember if they had anything before Donkey Kong in terms of video games.
I'm pretty sure that Game & Watch was their first.
Yeah, Donkey Kong would not happen until July 9th, 1981. So the Game & Watch predates Donkey Kong by a full year. Mario did not even exist when the Game & Watch came out.
Again, by no means the first video game, but
the first portable game.
Then we have to start asking ourselves, what counts as a video game? Because we've got the Coleco electronic quarterback, which let me drop you a picture of right there.
What the hell is the what? The fuck?
It's like a little football game.
I mean, this looks analogous to...
The problem about talking about what was the first video game, it's that, first of all, you need to define what a video game even is. Is the Coleco electronic quarterback a video game? I don't know.
I'd have to see it in just judging by this picture, it just sort of looks like it would play very similarly to a Game & Watch. So this might predate it. I don't know.
I mean, it does predate it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's fine.
There's also the Mattel Auto Race.
Sure. Yeah, all right.
It is credited as being the first handheld game. But again, there's no visuals on there's almost no visuals on that. Game & Watch is extensively more visual than this. How do you argue what the first handheld game is?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a definition problem.
Early video games are weird, especially when it comes to early handhelds. But yeah, Game & Watch is one of the earliest, like, Nintendo products working into video games. Like, obviously before this they were trading cards, and before that they were all manner of things. And so yeah, we played 4 classic Game & Watch games, and then a modern spin on all 4 of those Game & Watch games, being Manhole, Fire, Octopus, and Oil Panic. Yeah, that's what it's called.
And on the whole, the modern versions were better in all of them except Oil Panic.
Yeah, Oil Panic, I liked the original better, especially once I started getting into the rhythm.
The rhythm was a big part of Oil Panic.
Very much so. And I started like playing really dangerously because like I know the rhythm, I know when he's going to be there. Meanwhile, I think that Oil Panic added more mechanics in the modern version than the other 3. Even though the other 3 do add more mechanics, except for Octopus, which just sort of made it more lenient.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally the only change that Octopus made. But in Oil Panic, like, you have 2 barrels, you can turn around and switch which one is on what side. You can create, like, protection over the people so you're not pouring oil on them. It's bizarre.
It does too much.
It does too much. Meanwhile, you have Manhole, which is anxiety in the form of a video game.
I really like modern Manhole, honestly. When I loaded it up on my good old Virtual Console version, apparently my high score for that was 694.
See, I only broke 100 on 2 of them, and I only hit 200 on Octopus, Modern Octopus. I was not very good at these games.
I hit 200 on all the modern games.
They are not for my brain. My brain can't do it. I tried so hard. I got so far in most of them. But yeah, I think Manhole Modern is really good because, especially with the whole, like, the added strategy of, well, once you put it up there, it's up there. But the second anybody steps on it, if you're not holding it up, it's gone again. And then you got to deal with that.
Yeah, and if you hold on to it while they're there, then it doesn't fall, and you only need to be there for a frame. Whereas when it's falling, it takes like half a second for it to rise up.
Yeah. And there's also, it gives you a lot more leniency with saving people, which you don't really have in classic Manhole, even though I learned very quickly in Manhole that you can leave the gap while they're still on top of it. So long as they have touched you, you've done your job.
Yeah. I really, really, really liked Manhole.
Manhole is fun. I think Fire is fun, but somehow more stressful than Manhole.
I don't know if it's more stressful so much as it's just like less fair.
Yeah, the problem with classic Fire is that when you get a miss, it doesn't erase who was already there. So if you get a miss and somebody else is about to fall, well, fuck you. You don't get to do anything. Meanwhile, in Modern, they fixed this by when you get a miss, everybody disappears. And it starts clean slate. And just that alone, that and the fact that all the characters look different in Modern Fire. Where you've got, like, the Mario characters instead of just all of the black LCD characters that all look exactly the fucking same. And it's like, keep track of who jumped first. It's like, how am I supposed to do that? They all look identical.
So that was probably a lot easier to track in the actual Game & Watch system, where you could see the paths that they were going to take, and you could see exactly how far each person was along it. And the slavish devotion to keeping that limited animation accurate, but without that faint outline of being able to see where they're going, that's a bad combo.
And surely the Game Boy could have done that.
I don't think it could have, no.
Really?
No.
It can do lighter shades of gray.
But okay, but also that would have made a lot of objects on screen.
Yeah, that's fair. But like the screen's pretty empty as is in classic mode.
No, I mean, like, could it have rendered all that?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't think it would have been that bad, but that is definitely something to keep in mind. Because the Game Boy was, famously very powerful at the time, but nowadays is akin to trying to play a video game on your toaster.
Kind of like trying to play on a calculator.
A little bit, but just a little bit more sophisticated, slightly. But yeah, this is our last Game Boy game, by the way, of the, I think, 4 that we're playing for this show. So we had Mario Land, we had Myths and Monsters, Wario Land, and then we have this. Yeah, this is it. We say goodbye to the Game Boy after this.
Man, we're saying goodbye to a lot of things. We just say goodbye to the Super Nintendo.
We're not saying goodbye to the N64 for a good while. We're not going to hit our next handheld game.
Yeah, we just said goodbye to the NES without even thinking about it.
Good. Our next handheld game isn't until Fire Emblem Blazing Blade.
Which is a while from now.
That's game number 41. That is 20 games from now.
That is the whole show from now, pretty much.
Pretty much. Like, we have played as many games now as we will have to play to get to our next handheld game. Everything else is console from here. That's really interesting to think about.
Yes, but that's also just because of the choices that we made, because it's not like those handheld games weren't getting made. You know, like Link's Awakening happened, and the Oracle games happened, for that matter. Mario Advance would happen, Metroid 2. You know, there were plenty of handheld games being made.
But it just turns out that, like, Smash pulls from console games more often than it pulls from handheld stuff. Especially in terms of Zelda. We've talked about this already in the past when we did Link to the Past, but, like, Link to the Past is pretty much the only, like, 2D Zelda that Smash ever pulls from. We're getting off topic. Not that there's much of a topic to be on. This is exactly how I expected this episode to go.
Modern Manhole's fun.
Modern Manhole is pretty fun. I really liked Modern Octopus, mostly because that's the one I did good on.
I find Octopus to be boring. I don't like wait around games. I think that's why I liked Manhole so much. There was no waiting around. It was just manic.
I think Octopus on Classic is definitely a lot of waiting around, but in Modern, I liked the strategy feeling of it a lot more, where it's just like, all right, I can reach in and grab, and the instant I see that one unfurling, I need to go. But God help me if the other one is also unfurling, which never seemed to happen. And just go, 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 go. All right, don't get greedy. Get up there. I had a good time with that, honestly, all things considered. But you know what surprised me most of all? More than anything else, the music in this game is not amazing, but it's better than I expected it to be. Like, did you have that experience too?
I guess. I mean, there is a full 16 minutes of music. So obviously the classic versions didn't have any music, but the modern versions of each game did. Yeah.
The lack of music in the classic versions, which I understand why, because that is emulating the actual Game & Watch. I get it. That didn't make it any less boring.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that was part of it, I think, was that the lack of any music whatsoever. And this is admittedly just coming from like a spoiled period of time where all of the games that I play have music now. And that was emulating a period in which that was not the case. And so, yeah, I am pleasantly surprised by the music, though if you asked me to point any of it out off the top of my head, probably couldn't do it. I like Modern Manhole a lot.
Modern Manhole's really good.
And then I like Modern Octopus. like a lot. I think Modern Octopus is my favorite song in the game. But anything else? Did anything else jump out at you at all?
I like the title screen a lot.
Yeah, the title screen's pretty good. I'll agree with that.
But I would say Manhole's my jam.
Manhole's really good. I like Octopus. The title screen's very good. Yeah, I didn't come into this expecting even like serviceable music, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, while we're at it, Fire's okay. But I kind of don't like Oil Panic.
Yeah, I think Oil Panic sucks as well. It's not very good. I think it's too slow for like, especially for a game that the classic version requires so much rhythm to it. And this music doesn't feel like it has that much of a rhythm to follow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's almost like the classic version of Oil Panic is its own music because of the rhythm that's going to it.
Yeah. And so I think in that case, it's the only one that sort of works really well with the lack of music. Meanwhile, in Modern, it's just like, I mean, it's an alright song, but playing along to it just isn't great. And also, like, you asked this during the stream, why does Yoshi eat oil? That's not healthy. I know that, like, Yoshi's thing is that he can eat, like, anything, but, like, he shouldn't eat oil. That seems bad.
Unsanitary.
That seems cancerous. Like, Yoshi, you're gonna get some form of oral cancer. It's gonna be bad. Don't do that.
It's a shame that none of this music could be in Smash because it's all technically Mario music.
Is it?
I mean, it's because it's all Mario characters.
I guess, but would it still be, like, considered Mario? Is Game & Watch Gallery considered a Mario series?
So, in Japan, it is not Game & Watch Gallery. It is Game Boy Gallery.
Huh.
It is still all Game & Watch games. But it is, the Game & Watch name is not on the series at all.
Weird. That's bizarre. But, alright. I mean, I like the Game & Watch music we have, because I think, so in Smash, in terms of Smash music, I think that what they do with it is really creative and cool, where the music is primarily made up of Game & Watch sound effects. Obviously, there's, like, instruments in there as well, because otherwise you just don't have a song. But the way that they handle it, especially Flat Zone 2, I think Flat Zone 2 is a fantastic song. And I think that that's a lot more indicative and a lot more representative of the Game & Watch on its own than if they would have taken music from like a Game & Watch Gallery game.
That is true, but this is good music. I just wish we had more of it.
Yeah, I could see that.
You want to be uncomfortable?
Sure.
Here's Modern Octopus in Game & Watch Gallery 4.
Oh, no.
He looks like Tentacolino.
It does look like Tentacolino, and I don't want it. Get it away from me. Get it away. I don't really have anything else to mention.
I think we have already stretched this out pretty far.
Yeah, this is 20 minutes long, and that's, to be honest, longer than I thought it would go.
Yeah?
So, I think it's time that we go ahead and move on to our next game. And our next game, representing fighter number 20, Falco. It is, again, more 1997. We got quite a bit more 1997 to get through, but it is the 1997 Nintendo 64 game, Star Fox 64. And we are not alone for this one, for we have dragged along one of the hosts of Show Me Your News and a longtime friend of both of ours, Miles Allen, aka Sol Harath. Welcome to the show.
I have a Rumble Pack now. Because in 97, this is how you got your Rumble Pack.
Oh my god, this was the first game with Rumble, wasn't it?
It was, and it was packaged in.
Jeez. We just kind of accept Rumble as just part of controllers now. You kind of forget that, like, you needed to plug in an accessory.
Oh, you needed a whole pack.
Jeez.
And, like, the N64 Rumble Pack was fucking huge.
It was. I don't have mine anymore. I don't know anyone who really does, and those that do, I feel like don't have the battery pack case. It's just batteries freeballing it out there.
See, the battery pack case I never had. The Rumble Pack, I don't think it works anymore, obviously, because, batteries.
I mean, as far as the N64 memory card, I don't think that thing ever worked from day one.
See, I never had that. I never had one of those things. I had the Rumble Pack, and that actually might be the only accessory outside of the expansion pack for the actual console itself I had in general.
I never had Pokemon Stadium, so I never had a transfer pack.
I had Pokemon Stadium and didn't have a transfer pack.
Why? Why would you do that to yourself? To all of us.
I was a child. I just did it with rental Pokemon.
He just really wanted to play that Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that would be the inverse if you did have a transfer pack and not Pokemon Stadium. So you just had like half a game, but that's a different game.
Pretty much.
We only played it for the mini games anyway.
I've never played Well, that's a lie. I have played maybe 10 minutes of Star Fox 64. Back when I used to do my last show that is not good and you shouldn't listen to.
Which one? You've got so many.
The longer one. the 105 episode one.
Got it.
No, that's a fair question.
It is, I know.
But at some point, I mentioned that I had never played Star Fox 64, and our friend Missing No actually was like, "This will not stand," and mailed me a cartridge, which is sitting in my living room right now.
There's an emulator for that.
Wait, so hold on. He sent you this cartridge with just for you to play it, and you never did.
I played it once, and then I moved on to other stuff, I think. I don't remember what it was. Obviously, I won't be playing that version. This time I'll be playing the Wii U Virtual Console version, because, I mean, what else is my Wii U going to be used for?
Paperweight?
That's what it exists for now.
It's a
exists. Well, yeah, basically. But it's a paperweight that can play Star Fox 64.
I know you just want to play that wonderful 101.
I mean, I got that game for free, I'm pretty sure.
Nintendo Land.
But yeah, so I have like 10 minutes of experience with Star Fox 64, and it's the only Star Fox game I've ever touched in any capacity. So this will be interesting.
Okay. I had kind of expected you to have a little experience with this game, because then, so our win conditions kind of need you to know a little bit about what you're doing.
I kind of thought, with this being Smashterpieces, that at the very least I could expect from both of you is to have played it on the Masterpieces part of Brawl.
Oh my god. I
didn't touch the Masterpieces section of Brawl.
You didn't just go over and be like, oh, I'm gonna press this button real quick and look at this fucking game.
Well, I didn't need to, because I had played Star Fox 64.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yes.
Have played through Star Fox 64 a great many times. Did you know that there's a first-person view?
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah. I think I unlocked expert mode on the 3DS version.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
I didn't really see the problem a lot of people were having with the 3DS version. I just keep on hearing that people had problems with the 3DS version.
Oh, they re-recorded the voice acting, so...
Yeah, I mean, oh boy. To go from "We're Star Fox" to "We're Star Fox"!
They also fixed a glitch where if you hit something with an unlocked charge shot, then you would get a bonus point. So that made getting expert a little easier.
Oh.
But now it's gone in the 3D version.
None of those words mean anything to me. I'm so confused right now. This is gonna be interesting.
That shouldn't have been a glitch.
Here's the thing, the very first level, I'm just going to use this as an example. So, our win condition for this is complete Venom 1 and Venom 2. So this game has branching paths. Getting to Venom 1 is probably just how you'll do it on your first playthrough. Because you just kind of stumble into it. Getting to Venom 2 is the alternate path, which you need to complete different objectives in the levels to get to.
You get a lot of chances at this, though.
Yes.
You really do.
But my intention with it was that, you would see the majority of levels in the game by just, one playthrough on the right side, one playthrough on the left side. Yeah, there are maps in the center that you'd miss, but, you'd see most of the game that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what's about to happen.
It's been a while, so I can't remember all of the planet names, but you're probably not gonna see Solar.
Shouldn't see Solar. It's not very good.
Yeah, honestly, the level is hold up until the boss, and it's gonna be a shame because you might end up at Macbeth on your first run, and you will lose. You won't get the option to go to Venom 2. I mean, you'll try, but you'll probably fail, and you'll probably lose Slippy.
Oh no!
You're gonna lose Slippy.
Probably the easiest way to get to Venom 2 would probably be to go to Sector Y at the start, but getting to Sector Y, the requirements for that is weird to explain to someone that's never played before.
It's weird, but it is something you can stumble into just by sheer force of I like flying around.
Yeah.
But because that's how I got it. But the thing is, to get from Sector Y and to get to Aquas from Sector Y is actually harder than that. Because you need, 100 confirmed kills in Sector Y to get to Aquas?
Yes.
Yes. Which sounds easy, but you really need to get around a couple of problems, and if you're not very good at the game, that's actually a tall order.
Worst case, you can get to Zonus, I think it was, from Sector X. Worst case. Or, worst case, you just replay the level.
No, you go from Sector X to Sector Z, I believe.
Oh, it's straight there? Okay.
It's straight to Z, yeah. All you have to do is take the warp gates on the left. If you don't have double lasers, you're not making it.
So basically what I'm getting from this is, have somebody in the chat to tell me what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing at certain points.
Yep, and remember to stock up in extra lives, because you'll probably have to hit start over a couple of times.
That's what save states are for. You can do that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna need those save states.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this. I'm a little bit worried. The thing I think that turned me off when I did play it at one point is the sort of arcadey presentation of the game, if that makes sense.
Man, that shouldn't turn you off.
I don't think it's bad. It's just I don't go for games that do that very often. But this was years and years ago. I don't it's been a really, really, really long time.
It is also it is straight up a score attack game. It is a game that it's an hour long at most because you're meant to replay it over and over and over again and get the highest score.
Mm-hmm.
And the alternate paths actually make it more fun than Shadow the Hedgehog, which is not a high bar.
There are not as many unique alternate paths as in Shadow the Hedgehog. So, mathematically, Shadow the Hedgehog is a better game than Star Fox 64. I'm going to tell that to John.
Oh, no. Well, this is our last episode on NWR. You heard it here first, folks.
Okay, so I played through this game. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to attempt to run through it as much as possible in first-person mode.
Oh, interesting. get that full immersion.
Right? Fun fact. You can actually switch to Venom 1 from the Venom 2 path. So if you come from Area 6, which gets you to Venom 2, you can actually, after defeating the Area 6, just hit change course and do Venom 1 instead.
There's also no alternate path in Area 6. It just sends you straight to Venom.
Oh yeah, it sends you straight to Venom, but when you pull out to the main map screen and choose Venom, it allows you to change course.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
For score attack runs, Venom 1 is probably better.
Yes. And not only that, but like, in this game, you cannot do first-person mode if you're in all-range mode. I don't understand why all-range mode disables first-person mode, but it does. At least on the 64 version.
I think it's because they wanted you to be able to zoom out the camera, but they didn't have another button.
They have tons of buttons. They have a whole D-pad.
But it was the 90s. We didn't know what buttons were.
We have an L button.
There were too many buttons. They were overwhelmed. Have you seen a Super Nintendo controller in comparison to an N64 controller? I didn't know what the fuck to do.
There are a lot of buttons on the 64 controller.
The Japanese people, they have 3 hands.
I don't think that's well, I mean, that would explain a lot of things about the N64's controller design. I love the N64, but that controller is a train wreck. I'm pretty sure I've said that on this show before when we talked about Mario.
It's because they weren't sure if 3D was going to work, so they wanted you to just be able to hold it with the D-pad and play it old style.
I don't know if there's any games that I've played that'll use the D-pad, like, as the main control.
Kirby 64.
Kirby 64 is the only one, and I think Yoshi's Story.
Pokemon Stadium.
As the main control, because I know I've played Kirby 64 without touching the D-pad once.
No, you haven't. You're misremembering.
Yeah, no, you can't. It actually actively uses the D-pad.
Kirby 60. Maybe I've only played Kirby 64 on, like, the Wii with the GameCube pad.
Maybe.
You might have. But yeah, we should probably go ahead and wrap up this pre-show, because it's gone on a little long, but that's good.
Do.
Because that means I'm very excited.
They're 5 minutes when it's just me and Joe, and then every time a guest comes in, they're like 20 minutes.
I was warned 10 to 15. I was going for 15, and it's only been like 12.
Had to get that record. But yeah, this pre-show, every time we have a guest, it gets me really excited for the actual episode because I just want to talk. But we gotta wrap it up. So,
are you trying to tell me to speed run the pre-show?
Yes.
This isn't going to be dated by this reference.
And I ain't gonna explain it.
When we recorded for the Mario 64 pre-show, we recorded that before we'd actually played Donkey Kong Country. So Joe and Jordan were just like, yeah, Donkey Kong Country, you've played that, and I've never played it. So, like, I hadn't played it yet, even though on that podcast there was like 20 minutes of me talking about Donkey Kong Country. So I just sit there like, yeah, I've played this game.
I know the conversation topics. But you can find us at Smashterpieces on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. You can find me on Twitter at TheDabaga. You can find Matt at Grimace Dominis. I will be streaming on NWR for this one. Once again, that's, twitch.tv/Nintendo World Report. You can find Matt's stream at twitch.tv/Grimace the Menace. Where can they find all of your stuff, Miles? Like all of it.
All of it is under my tag Solharath, which is SOLHARATH, where if you follow me on Twitter, you'll just see my dogs. But if you find me on Twitch, you will see that I mostly play Mario Maker, but I'm going to try to hook up my 64 and get my copy of Star Fox 64 to work.
Oh, you're going to play it on original hardware.
Yes. I actually, to be completely honest with you, it's actually already hooked up, and I don't know which game is currently in, but I think it's Bomberman 64, so we'll move on from there.
If you stream this, you'll be the first guest to also stream the game.
Really?
Yeah, this is true.
I could literally stream it right now.
Well, with that, my name is Joe.
And I'm Matt.
I'm Miles.
And we will see you next time for our discussion on Star Fox 64.